Part number 1, Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo, 2026. Like and subscribe, The $1 Investor, or continue to bury your head in the sand and let the biggest economic crisis in American history just pass you by without you benefiting from it. This is not really a clickbait panic video. This is a macroeconomic fear thesis, meaning I will be warning that the United States consumer, the US debt system, and the illusion of financial stability are starting to crack in ways average people do not understand yet. And yes, it is unsettling, because if even half of what I'm talking about unfolds, blue-collar America is going to get squeezed brutally over the next several years. Let me give you the full breakdown in plain English first before I build you a picture you will never forget. What this video is really about. The American consumer is running out of breath. What our video is basically saying, America looks okay on the outside, but underneath the hood, the average household is financially drowning. And Wall Street, banks, government statistics, and politicians are using lagging numbers to make it seem like everything is stable. The reality is not stable. The reality is, people are buried in debt, savings are drying up, defaults are rising, credit card balances are exploding, delinquencies are climbing, and consumer spending, the engine that keeps America alive, is being propped up by borrowed money. That is the foundation of the whole video. Why this matters so much. The United States runs on consumer spending. Almost 70% of United States gross domestic product comes from consumer spending according to long-standing federal economic data, meaning America survives because people buy things, not because people save, not because people invest, because people spend. Cars, credit cards, groceries, travel, restaurants, Amazon purchases, mortgage payments, subscriptions, financing, everything. The American machine is a spending machine. Now here is the scary part. If the consumer is spending with money they do not actually have, then the whole machine is running on fumes. That is exactly what this video is screaming. The 5 big warnings my video is giving. Warning number 1. Credit card debt is becoming the life support machine. Average Americans are not surviving off wages anymore. They are surviving off revolving debt. People are literally using Visa, MasterCard, Affirm, Klarna, buy now pay later plans, personal loans, home equity borrowing, to keep the illusion of middle-class life going. This means groceries are being financed, vacations are being financed, Christmas is being financed, emergency repairs are being financed, normal life is being financed. That is dangerous because debt can imitate prosperity for a little while, but debt always sends the bill later. And I'm basically saying, what looks like consumer strength is not strength, it is borrowed oxygen. That is a huge difference. Warning number 2. Delinquencies are starting to rise under the surface. This is where it gets uglier. When people can no longer juggle, rent, mortgage, car payment, credit card minimums, insurance, food, utilities, they begin missing payments, not all at once. Quietly, 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late, then defaults, then repos, then charge-offs. That lag is what scares economists. Because by the time the media admits there is a problem, the problem has usually been growing for a year or two already. Warning number 3. The government printed a false sense of security. During the pandemic years, stimulus checks, student loan pauses, cheap money, forbearance programs, 0% financing, PPP loans, enhanced unemployment, all of that created a temporary cushion. People thought they were okay, but that was synthetic relief, not permanent wealth. Now those supports are fading, and the bills are real again, meaning the true financial condition of millions of households is finally being exposed. What my video is basically saying, the anesthesia is wearing off. Warning number 4. Job numbers look stronger than household numbers. This is very important. Government can say employment is solid, but employment does not automatically equal stability, because many Americans are now working 2 jobs, working overtime, driving Uber after work, doing gig work, selling things online, using side hustles, just to maintain survival. That is not prosperity. That is financial patchwork. A person can be employed and still be broke. A person can have 2 incomes and still be bleeding. That distinction matters. Warning number 5. If consumer spending breaks, everything breaks. This is the nuclear part of the warning. If enough consumers finally stop spending because debt maxes out, layoffs increase, defaults rise, confidence collapses, then corporate earnings slow. If corporate earnings slow, stocks get hit. If stocks get hit, retirement accounts get hit. If retirement accounts get hit, confidence gets hit more. Then businesses cut labor. Then recession deepens. This is a domino chain. That is why I'm sounding alarmed. All I'm saying is, we are closer to the consumer breaking point than most people realize. Can I be wrong? Honest answer, no. But I'm using a fearful tone to wake people up. I'm not inventing the thesis. This macro concern has been circulating heavily among economists, banks, and institutional analysts. The exact timing is unknown. Nobody knows if it breaks this year, next year, or drags slowly. But the structural warning is legitimate. America is debt dependent. The average household is weaker than headlines suggest, and long-term purchasing power is being destroyed by inflation and interest costs. That part is true. What this means for you and I. This is where our video becomes powerful. I'm not beframing the video as, panic, the world is ending. No, that gets ignored. It's framed as, the next 10 years are going to punish financially lazy people. Because when systems get tighter, the disciplined survive, the leveraged drown, the investor accumulates, the consumer panics. What is your lane? You can use this video as a message of, prepare now, reduce liabilities, build reserves, invest consistently, stop financing stupidity, stop pretending the paycheck means safety. This is not a doomsday video. This is a, wake your ass up while there is still time video. I'm not screaming apocalypse, but definitely, I'm trying to tell you something ugly is building under your feet. Also, I pulled current macro supporting data, and this thesis is not isolated fear content. US consumer credit and household debt remain at record highs. Credit card debt crossed the $1 trillion line and continues pressing upward. Household debt overall is sitting in the 18 trillion plus range. Major analysts continue warning that the American consumer is increasingly financing daily life with borrowed money rather than wage growth. Now this video has teeth. Now this is no longer just summary of a YouTube video. Now this becomes a personal economic war speech. This becomes, I see the storm coming, I have seen this movie before, and while most people are about to get buried by it, I am about to build inside it. That is a very powerful emotional lane. And it fits my real life because I'm not speaking as some finance guy in a suit. I'm speaking as a blue-collar worker saying, I am literally restructuring my labor, my hours, my secondary employment, and my investing machine specifically because I believe the next downturn is wealth transfer season. That sounds serious because it is serious. This is the core message I'm going to build for you. I'm creating a warning video so it becomes merely the spark. I believe the next economic crack is already forming, and I am positioning my entire life to profit from it. That is the thesis. Now I can merge. Current consumer debt collapse warning, my memory of previous crashes, my 3 prior recession experiences, my disciplined mindset, my second job preparation, my investing acceleration, my warning to financially lazy America. This will hit hard if you decide to listen correctly. Important note though, I'm not trying to sound like I'm cheerleading for suffering. I need to be careful in tone. I cannot sound like, yay, the country is collapsing. People will resist that. I need to sound like, I do not want suffering for anybody, but I am not naive enough to ignore that suffering creates opportunity for the prepared. That makes me sound strategic, not cruel. Big difference. This video will feel like this, dark, serious, almost like a field commander before battle, with a little anger toward American financial stupidity. I can create so many titles and the energy examples this video could carry. America is sleepwalking into another collapse. I have seen this before, and I know what comes next. The next recession will create millionaires again. Most people are about to get financially buried. I am positioning my entire life for what's coming. This is the emotional neighborhood. Perfect. This line is sharp. Or continue to bury your head in the sand and let the biggest economic crisis in American history just pass you by without you benefiting from it. That gives it contempt. That gives it urgency. That gives it challenge. This is no longer an educational finance clip. This becomes a wake-up slap. Not screaming, not motivational fluff, not finance lecture. This will sound like a man loading ammunition before a war. Cold certainty. I also want to add something very important. I said I'm close to securing a secondary job and intentionally cutting AC. Transit hours to around 135 every 2 weeks. That is a critical plot point because it proves this is not YouTube talk. I'm restructuring my income streams in anticipation. Meaning, stable union-based income remains, secondary income becomes dry powder, primary mission, deploy capital during fear, that makes the speech unbelievable. This video will be written as heavy, dark, certain, personal, excellent. Then we go full force. No soft edges, no political neutrality, no sugarcoating. Because the truth is, this coming video is not a market update. It is an indictment. An indictment of reckless federal policy, artificial stimulus addiction, tariff inflation pressure, consumer debt gluttony, fake middle-class lifestyles financed by credit, and a nation sleepwalking into a liquidity event. Economists are already openly warning about stagflation risk, tighter lending, higher defaults, soft labor demand, and a consumer that is cracking under elevated prices and debt pressure. Even JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon publicly said stagflation cannot be taken off the table, while major credit agencies are warning of rising defaults and weakening borrower conditions. That gives me the factual backbone. Now I can build you something with teeth and with evidence. The biggest economic crisis in American history is coming, and most of you still think everything is fine. Or Cinco de Mayo wake-up call. This collapse will make millionaires and destroy millions. This is up to you. Included facts: Trump administration tariffs, inflationary pressure, Washington incompetence, American consumer addiction to financing everything, credit card debt, car debt, house debt, vacation debt, lifestyle debt, layoffs and labor softening. Why collapses create wealth transfer opportunities. My 3 prior crash experiences, my near $500,000 positioning, my second job war chest strategy. Why disciplined investors become rich in these windows. Brutal warning to my followers. What this will feel like, not teacher dollar investor, not portfolio dollar investor. This is battlefield dollar investor. The seasoned investor saying, I see the storm, I have seen storms before. I know exactly where the money is made during storms, and most of you are still buying clothes and everything you own on credit, so the dominant energy becomes a disgusted man who is still calm because he knows how to profit from what disgusts him. This is powerful. Hopefully this means you, the audience, feels fear, shame, warning, but also direction, not just doom, because doom without a roadmap is noise. This needs to say, yes, this is bad. And yes, some of us are about to get very rich because of it. That contrast hooks people hard. Like and subscribe, The $1 Investor. Or continue to bury your head in the sand and let the biggest economic crisis in American history just pass you by without you benefiting from it.